Hey, how's it going? In today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at what investments government is making. Very recent announcements. One that I was taking a look at would be improvement road infrastructure, as well as within this video, I'm gonna be taking a look at charging points and overall some of the announcements made. Road infrastructure was roughly about 34 million investment, and they're looking to improve about 5 million, 5,000 miles. By 5,000 miles, so we're looking to improve roads as well as within this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the most recent announcements where they're looking to improve charging points. And let's delve a little bit deeper. I haven't read this article yet, but I thought it's worth taking a look at it. Transport Secretary announced 70 million investment for to boost more rapid electric vehicle charging. The announcement was made at COP28. That's a climate summit that was happening about 3 or 4 weeks ago or so. So that's an announcement made, and overall, everyone should be more climate conscious, I guess. EV charging points pilot scheme at motorway service RT support government's vision of transition to electric vehicles. So we're looking to improve infrastructure, right? EV electric vehicles. Perhaps if I would, if it would be me, I would be looking not perhaps in alternatives, right? So we're looking perhaps alternatives, not necessarily limited to currently the way how cars are powered, electric, but there's more more ways how cars can be powered. So not necessarily should be limited just to that, but one step at a time, I guess. We're progressing from there. This announcement was made very recently, so 6th of December. So that was last week on Wednesday. So good, there's some investments being made. Some of the bullet points, most important facts from this article, right? Trials will boost the number of ultra rapid charging points at motorway service and spark private investment. Okay. Next bullet point, pilot launch at COP28 Transport Day along with US and UK Green Shipping Pledge. Okay. And from there, we're progressing to the last one. First global zero emission vehicle transition roadmap launched to strengthen support for emerging markets and develop economic countries. So there's something that they have pledged, and they're looking to improve some of those ways how vehicles are being powered. Quick story, right? To build a professional who would be able to build some of those charging points, right? The professional would need to have formal qualifications about some experience, I would say, as well as he would need to have certificates in being able to do that. Some parts in UK just now they're looking to begin hiring some of those professionals, right? So the process within itself can take a month, if not years, to find a professional, to train that professional, to hire it, and all infrastructure to build it, just to get things into motion. It can be a very time-consuming process, but I guess it's an ongoing thing, right? So at least the actions have been taken to improve that. A 70 million pilot scheme launched today, 6th of December 2023, will power up motorway services areas to pave the way to ultra rapid electric vehicles, EV charge points. Otherwise, if you cannot charge it, why would you even consider purchasing some of those cars, right? And or perhaps, if anything, I don't know why those some of those cars are so expensive. Let's touch on that because there are alternatives in the market, way cheaper, 3 or 5 times cheaper cars, right? Hopefully they might be interested in building some of those models of EV cars where it might be cheaper, but I don't know. It's currently some of those alternatives in the market so expensive, as well as you need to consider so many different factors, perhaps lifetime value of the car and the battery technology and everything. So it's still, my personal opinion, all things still evolving, right? So not necessarily everything's been perfect as we speak, but it's good that they're paying attention and they're looking to improve some of those infrastructure projects, right? myself, I'm considering or trying to understand the process of what would it be like to building a car like that. As I mentioned in yesterday's videos, I had reached out to a team who potentially can build something like that. I'm trying to understand the process. Right? Once I have my own vehicle, if I will have one, then I would say, "Oh, this car is amazing! I can't wait." But until then, I cannot say that. Until then, the cars and then that's good. It could do a lot of improvements, man. Until I will start, if I will start doing it to myself, then I would perhaps start promoting all of the projects and everything what's happening with those cars, right? Perhaps then prices would be very reasonable prices. Until then, although I think the prices of the cars are overpriced, right? Or perhaps myself, instead of sitting here and complaining, I'm trying to get into some of those projects myself and start or begin understanding what would be like of building some of those cars myself. Taking notice of some of those opportunities out there in the market, right? Speaking on COP28 Transport Day in Dubai, Transport Secretary Mark. Okay, let's keep any of those. Okay, that's not really relevant then. If anything, touching on back on those cars, right? So, for people, I'm sharing most of the information up there. If you like to understand what will be the process of getting it perhaps it will be very time consuming, and perhaps if it's not something that you understand very well of how to build those cars, perhaps it could be very challenging. But I'm looking to share as much information on my channel about the process. And if it's something that I'll actually going to be doing, I don't know yet, since a lot of things are happening. As we speak, prices are rising. Some of those contractors that I have reached out to, they have raised the price. So even the company that I have reached out to yesterday, it was 25,000 for one unit of the cars being built. I think it's 35,000 now. So we have an increased price. So I don't know if I'll be able to lift this project off the ground or if I'm gonna need to find other contractors. But it's just a way of doing business, I guess. Motorway services are strategically important as regulatory space stopping point along the motorway. Investments here address the need for a highly visible and dependable long distance charging networks to support drivers and escalate further EV purchases. I guess that would be one way to look at it, unless if it's been subsidized by tax money. I don't know, but I guess it's important to have that infrastructure in place, right? The pilot, which is being developed by National Highways, will help gather evidence on inform and design a full fund. So, all right, I have the Chartist fund. I think I have did the Chartist fund yesterday, and we'll see what will the process like of infrastructure, and perhaps if there's a way how I can support this organization in the way or take part, and perhaps if they need any assistance in developing some of those infrastructures. Today also sees the launch of 10-week rapid charging fund consultations, seeking views from the range of stakeholders, including charge point operators, motorway services, and operators as electric suppliers, on where the chargers are needed most and how the best to design RSF. Some of those questions, for people who are interested in books, some of those books have asked the same questions. Was reading some of without promoting any particular project out there, some of those car companies, right? But people who have read any of those books, they had asked the same question within the book: what would be the best process of deploying some of that infrastructure when we talk about charge points, right? And now they're holding a 10-week consultation. So if it's something that you're looking to reach out, perhaps collaborate and work together, there's opportunities out there, right? Alongside Pilot Lunch, the Pilot, that will be the name of the program, right? The UK and US are teaming up to announce a competition to develop green shipping corridors. Okay, so that's a trade deal that I think it's called a transatlantic trade deal. That's the name of the deal. I don't think it's been signed, but they're looking to perhaps develop that trade deal. Myself, I'm very excited about new opportunities when it comes to trade. as well as they're looking to develop green shipping corridors between both countries. The US and UK, second largest direct partner when it comes to international maritime trade, with over 40 million tons of maritime trade carried out last year. Launching next year, the initiative builds upon the UK's successful partnership with the likes. Okay, let's skip all of those companies towards zero emission shipping. So the not necessarily the infrastructure that we are talking about, not necessarily limited to roads, right? Roads or it could be considered last mile. Most of the miles been done by maritime shipping, right? And infrastructure on the ground and roads, i.e. roads, usually that's last or if not, sometimes can be most expensive, right? So they're even considering those, and there might be some opportunities there. Then UK hosted COP26 in 2021. Oh, okay. And there's a plans of hosting next COP. That would be COP 2029, I think. We are planning to host somewhere Eastern Europe, but because of the conflicts, right? So not necessarily that will go forward in those locations. But either way, it announced the Cyberbank Declaration for Green Shipping Corridors, where signatories declare ambitions to implement zero-emission shipping routes. Today, it was announced that the new shipping corridor will be forged between the Republic of Korea, Lithuania, and United Arab Emirates, taking its memberships to 27. Okay, interesting. So we're looking to improve those. Right. Great, great. So more trade, more opportunities, which is great. So now, perhaps when UK would have more independence when it comes to trade, there might be some opportunities there. I have already reached out to some of the ports or governments will ports, I guess, and was asking about the process and what would be required to do any of the trade. If there's more trade, perhaps it will be cheaper to do business with some of those ports, because some of the ports that was mentioned, just I have mentioned just now, it's very expensive. For whatever reason, it's very expensive to do any trade, and custom duties, everything is very expensive there. So hopefully the prices would go down for many businesses of that. Yesterday, that would be the 5th of December, or that would be last week, right? 2023. Also saw a launch of the world's first global zero-emission vehicle, or called ZEV. I don't know, I don't like the name, but okay. Transition roadmap, designed to improve understanding and accessibility around the international push to decarbonize roads, travels, and more clarity lay out the financial availability of development economies and new markets. It commits to an annual update of future COP events, helping map the transition to clear travel on a global scale and ensure no country is left behind. That's a code. The last words is a code. Oh no. People sometimes speak in codes. Which is terrible. It's just terrible. It comes in the same week that the House of Commons agreed for December 2023, very recent one, and we're still looking at December, right? So that would be this month, last week, Monday. The percentage of net zero emissions cars are advanced that manufacturers will be required to produce each year up to 2030 by safeguarding investment made by the car industry in the United Kingdom and protecting skilled British jobs. This complements the Prime Minister proportionate pragmatic decision to delay the ban on new petrol cars from 2030 to 35 to support families making the switch. I guess currently within those facilities where manufacturing is happening, right? For people who perhaps don't know, there's an equal amount of robots to people, right? So 1-to-1 ratio currently. So some of those manufacturers within those, right? people who are working there, instead, I don't know what they currently are doing, but perhaps they can do a switch where they would oversee those robots, if that makes sense, easier. But people just need to constantly develop themselves and constantly improve every day if they can. I don't know about time constraints and what they require, but currently it's 1 to 1 ratio currently, where back then it was way lower, right? But that's overview. That's very brief overview. It depends on who is manufacturing and everything what's happening, right? As well as some of those robotic companies. I can touch on that briefly, but some of those companies are being bought out by many other companies. So a lot of things are happening, right? So, but either way, that's roughly about the ratio that we're talking about. This announcement also been backed by over 2 billion government investment and rapid expanding charging infrastructure, which has already grown 42% on last year. I know what they were trying to say. They were trying to say year-on-year growth. But they have taken some information from this bit. Because there's a massive projection of potential growth of the market, right? Where there would be need of more electricity production, the grid, better grid. There's so many things haven't been covered within this article, but demand for electricity, just some of the things perhaps worth mentioning. I don't know if others are paying attention, right? So if there would be, instead of petrol or the similar cars that we have right now on the roads, there would be need for more electricity powered, right? So all the households and or infrastructure would need more increase, and or prices of electricity would potentially would go up even higher if they can. If there's just a number of companies doing it, why wouldn't they not increase the prices? The same as the guy that I have reached out yesterday about purchasing cars, right? He increased the price by 10,000 overnight. Why not, right? Area that puts on well on the way to 30,000 by 2030. So they're looking to improve the infrastructure, and they're looking to have those points right every so often, right? So some of the investments have been made there. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a journal info. Within this journal, I'm sharing a lot on some of those ways that were important when it comes to having routines. If anything, we're tackling a New Year's, right? So perhaps a lot of people who are going to be watching this see how it would be New Year's and how to start New Year, so perhaps a fresh start, right? Then you take a look at perhaps developing habits and how long it can take. About well, that would be if you were to pick up this journal, that would be about 90 days, right? So 3 months that we're looking at. That would be enough time to develop a habit. And developing a habit, you should focus on 24 hours within every page. Within every page, 24 hours, key areas, every single thing that you would need to learn, and that's very fundamental areas I have covered within this journal that you would need to work on every single day. From there, once you understand those, you can improve and progress, but not for the first 90 days. Start with that and work from there, perhaps. You can find it in QR code in the contact company's website below. This year's COP summit, the case is focusing efforts on some of those areas, but not necessarily limited to those I'll mention, but that will be just a few, right? Tackling deforestation. I have seen some of the initiatives that UK and other countries are taking when it comes to tackling deforestation, as well as green finance. So the way how potentially finance will be sourced and establishing perhaps different funds or opportunities out there. It's not necessarily limited to UK, but it's good that the actions have been taken. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.